Well, good morning on the Pacific Coast and good afternoon to the rest of the country. To our friends in Hawaii, I have a couple of clients there. It's time to wake up. Let's get going. Today we're going to be talking about onboarding clients, and part of this process is closing them and bringing them on board and getting them going, but also above and beyond just that, the mentality of closing and getting more business is trying to automate the process from start to finish so that you can be more efficient, reduce your overhead, and just get more things going on than you could manage on your own. Automation today is it's widespread in terms of cloud technologies. There's a lot of great systems out there that allow us to do that. You know, we have our friends at Amazon who have produced the Echo. There's the Dot now that you can get for 49 bucks. You could have got it for 39 bucks yesterday. And I have those all over the house, and that's how we control our lights, and that's how we control our televisions and Apple TVs and PlayStations and what have you. And it works. I mean, the kids do it great. Angela's, you know, at first she was a little bit resisting on that, but she has gotten in full swing with it. You know, I mean, it's not always perfect, but it's pretty neat. And that's just one part of it. But really in business, automating can really make a difference. And where I mean is the redundant tasks that either we once paid somebody to do or we try to do ourselves, but it takes away from our ability to put time on the clock, so to speak, to bill our clients, to produce work. And so we want to try to eliminate those types of things so that we've got leads flowing in automatically while we're doing our work and billing our clients and taking care of our clients, so that we have happier clients and we're happier because we've got more going on and more revenue flowing, and that's the key. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we get started, our primer, as we often do, just to let you know, CPE is offered only on live webinars. I'm going to start our first poll, which is always the same. Please respond to it. Are you attending this webinar for CPE? And the majority of people do, which is phenomenal. I want to once again say thank you to the love of my life and colleague, Angela Rust, who's not only taking care of 3 children with me and running 2 businesses, but she's also going to law school full-time at night. And she somehow figured out a way to get us CPE certified. Extraordinary work. Thank you on behalf of everybody. We have gotten an amazing response from that. So that's awesome. And the polls are required for you to secure your CPE. So you have to answer all the questions throughout the end, all the way through to the end. This is how they prove that you were here for the full period. It has to be roughly 50 minutes. Just a note, Q&A is private to me or a panelist only. In this case, it's just me. So if you have a question and you don't want anyone else to see it, put it in Q&A. Quite frankly, use Q&A if you want me to respond to a question. Chat gets kind of busy. Chat is open to everybody. And as your questions come to you, please put them into the Q&A, and then I will answer them as they come. And please use it. It's a lot of fun when we have engagement. I'll also ask you from time to time to raise your hand electronically, and that is another option at the bottom of the Zoom window. And then when you do use chat, once again, remember anything you type in there will be available and viewable to all. Okay, so we started our first poll. This is this is the symbol. We're going to do it this way from now on. Whenever you see this, we're going to do a poll. And we are, again, offering CPE 1 unit for today. So please make sure you vote, regardless of whether or not you're looking for CPE. We would appreciate to get a full set of votes just so we get a good average. Okay? And we're about 50-50 today on CPE, just so you know. All right, so I am Eric Greenspan. I've updated some of our slides. I think you'll enjoy them. This is my Twitter profile, and I figured why not just be consistent. I love being a father. I love being an entrepreneur. I love marketing. I love my job. I love what I do, both with Studemy and 74 Systems, and of course the Ignite program, which is part of both. And I love to be in the kitchen. If you've ever got an email from me, you probably have seen my signature to the moon, because I'm always trying to lift and get to new heights. I am a QuickBooks certified ProAdvisor because I wanted to know what you know so I could better assist you. I'm an Insightly hero because I love workflow. I love being able to manage tasks and handle things automatically. And Insightly is a great platform for that. I'm working with a client right now with Microsoft Dynamics CRM, very highly customized version. I don't recommend it for the typical user. There's a lot of other products out there that you've probably seen. And Insightly is just an easy to use, very integrated product that seems to do a lot of good for a lot of people. I'm also a TEDster, and I ran TEDx American Riviera, which is the local version of a TED event here in Santa Barbara for 3 years. So I'm proud of that and learned a lot, met a lot of great people. You want to learn more about me, pop over to ericgreenspan.com. And the reason why I put that up there is, yeah, I want you to learn about me if you're going to do business with me, but equally important, people ask often, should I have a website? And I say, it's not should you, it's how many. I have my own personal website at ericgreenspan.com where I do some personal blog posts and what have you, talking about cooking or my life or my family or coaching sports or whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, what that does is allow me to profile myself, my CV, my resume, my history, the things I've accomplished, and allow people to evaluate who I am, better serving my ability to close more business because they can actually kick the tires and read about the things that I've achieved in my lifetime and the failures as well. I share them both. I run the Ignite program. It's kind of mixed in between Astudemy and 74 Systems. Astudemy is this offering. We offer learning, online webinars and courses and what have you. And then 74 Systems, we work with accounting professionals, bookkeepers, and business owners to help you ignite your practice. And we just basically get you clients, give you ideas on how to do that. It takes a lot of work on your part. I'm not going to tell you that we do it all for you, but we definitely are your chief marketing officer. I am currently the chief marketing officer for 55 companies. I stay very, very busy. I was up until about 11 o'clock with clients yesterday, starting at 6. Tomorrow I've got a call with India at 7 a.m. and I have to be at a client's at 7 a.m. on Friday. It never ends. But it's good. You know, we live a good life and we can take care of things and we can do the things we want to do. And that's what I want for you as well. So if you're interested in Ignite, you can schedule a consultation at 74systems.com. And it's for people that are in this field, business owners, of course, in general, but accountants and bookkeepers is my focus. If you're looking to kickstart a business, need a little guidance on how to do that. If you're already established, but you're kind of come to a crossroads or you want to go to the next level, you're looking to buy a business or really lift off. Those of you that have been doing it for a while and you're kind of bored or just not really doing what you thought you were going to be doing and you need kind of a restart or a kick in the you-know-what, that's another typical client of ours. And then just anybody who wants to grow, tackle problems, or conquer fears. By the way, we do have a poll open. Please respond to that poll. It's very important, particularly for CPE, but we appreciate it if everybody would vote. We've got a few of you that have not, so please do so. I appreciate it. So I ask you, are you achieving all of your goals? Did you do anything this week that lifted you? Did you do anything that you set your mind on and accomplished? Because you know that feeling of accomplishment. It is so critically important. Please put that at the top of your agenda, because if you achieve something each day, you're going to wake up every morning and want to do it again. And that's what makes us run to our desk rather than run from it. Good clients. Oh, I cannot tell you. I talk about this all the time. I spent the entire day with one of my clients yesterday, and it was such an awesome experience. I love being there. I love them. I love the work that we do. It's hard, but I love it. It's challenging, and they're good people, and they pay me well, and they appreciate me, and they're just really warm, loving clients, and that's what I want in my life. So go get them. And don't be afraid to ask for the dollars that you deserve. This client pays me very, very well in particular. I'm not cheap, I'm going to tell you straight up, but we get results almost all the time. If we're not getting results, we either miss something or we haven't got you fully engaged. So I apologize for that. If I have any Ignite clients here that don't think they're really getting what they would have liked to see out of Ignite, talk to me about it. We can fix it. Believe me, there's different things we can try. I'm flexible. I want to see you be successful, and I want to see you make more money. My goal is to pay for myself in Ignite at least 5 to 10 times over. So let's do it. And please have fun. Come on. Got to laugh a little bit. If not, fake it. This is my new thing. If you can fake that you're in a good mood and having fun, you just might end up being in one. And please tell me you do what you love. If you love what you do, please raise your electronic hand. So I see quite a few Ignite clients in there, and I'm digging seeing that. That is really cool. Those of you that didn't respond, the goal is to do that. And we should talk about that. So book one of those free consultations. I've got a question. You didn't see the last poll. There's a poll up right now. So you're in anonymously. I don't know who you are. I think you're just a call-in listener. If that's who you are, you're obviously not going to be able to see the poll. If you don't see it on your screen, you have to go click on polls down below, and you should be able to see it there. Any other tips, put them in chat, folks. I don't see it the way you do. So if people are having a hard time, maybe you can help them. All right, so onboarding clients, how to automate, get paid faster, and get back to work. So I ask you the first question. Are you still scheduling your own appointments? I'm going to lower your hands and ask you to raise your hands if you are. Are you still scheduling appointments on the phone, via email, old school way? I have a feeling a lot of you are going to raise your hands. So there's two ways to get around this. There's a new service. What is her name? Something AI. I can't even remember what it is. Darn it. Well, it's not something I was going to go over, but there's this new service where it's kind of like, I can't say her name here because my Amazon Echo will respond, but it's kind of a name like that. And anyhow, this service is where you can email and she will coordinate. It's an electronic service, but there's actually people behind it. And she will actually coordinate between you and the other person in the email. I haven't tried it yet. It's really not my cup of tea. I like the automated approach, and here's how I do it. For those of you that have booked a consultation with me, you've seen this before. This is an updated, fresher version of it. It's really cool. This is called Acuity Scheduling. I'm going to talk about this in our, these are a few of my favorite apps. I'm going to go into it a little more in detail. But the point is, two things I want to make clear. First of all, I didn't really design any of this, okay? This is an embedded piece of code that they give you when you sign up for your account. You connect it to your either Exchange, Office 365 Exchange, Outlook, whatever you want to call that, or your Google Apps, email, or whatever. It doesn't work with everything, and that's why you want to pick one of those two in almost every case, because all of these cloud apps like either Google Apps or they like the Exchange side of things, Office 365. And when you sign up for it and it connects to your calendars, it'll actually verify whether you have that availability, and it won't show. You can see on mine here, this was from this morning. I have an appointment next week on Thursday available for a free consult at 9 a.m. I've got one in 2 weeks at 2 p.m. And then Wednesday, December 14th, I've got 2 available, and there's more. But that's it. I'm booked until then because my calendar is either full with Ignite clients or full with consultations. I don't have a lot of consultations right now because I don't have any openings, mostly Ignite clients. So it's getting pushed off, and people are booking 3 weeks in advance, which is awesome. But the reality is this thing controls it for me. If I put on there that I have to go to the dentist, I just add that to my calendar, or I just block a day because I don't feel like taking any new business. It will instantly update this so that when somebody tries to book a free consultation, it'll only make available the times that I'm free. So simply by adding an entry on my calendar, it will disable that any of those particular times through my appointment scheduling. Now I can also set this up so that free consultations are only in the morning and Ignite sessions are in the afternoon, so that the blocks only work within certain parts. It's very flexible. And it has all the emails that go out and remind you and give you the links and everything. But the reason why I love this product is because of an integration with Zoom. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But just by going in here and clicking, here's what happens. So the first thing is when you choose this free consultation, Amy, thank you so much. Amy, it's x.ai, and her name is Amy. And Angela, what's the, there, you could choose a guy's name too. Is it Andy or something? It's x.ai. That's the email version of something like this. I'm going to try it. I got invited to the preview. But this is really, I like this better because what this does, what we're doing here is when you click on December 8th, 9 a.m. and your information box comes up, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And those questions are very important to me because they're going to allow me to determine the viability of you as an opportunity and learn more about you so that I don't necessarily have to ask you immediately. I'll kind of know, the potential of the opportunity. And that's a big deal, okay? Qualifying leads automatically and then getting all that data into something. So let me show you. So when you book that, and I've blurred out everything else, but you can see this is my one of my attorneys, and he actually booked an Ignite consultation because he's watching my business grow. He knows all about it, and he's like, dude, I need you to help me. And I said, sure, I'd be happy to. I think it'd be great. I like working with lawyers and accounting professionals. So he's a great guy, wonderful attorney. So I'm excited to meet with him. But the point is when he booked that appointment, it automatically put it into my Google Calendar onto my particular calendar. And you can see in the top left, it says EDG 74. You can see Angela's calendar is there. If I want Angela's calendar to be affecting my availability, I can set it to do that. But in this case, I don't. And then we have our kids' calendars because they're very busy. So if I wanted my kids' hockey to keep me from allowing anyone to book, I could allow it to do that. I could share those calendars so that they can do that. But the way I do it is I keep it real simple. I just have my one calendar, whatever's blue. And when I don't want to, like you can see on Tuesday, the whole day was blocked out. I just put a big giant block so nobody would book because I have to be with a client all day. And on this Friday, this is the 9th here, obviously, but on the Friday that's coming up, I have the same thing. You can see on Friday the 9th, I'm quite open, which is great. So this is automatically happening, but there's more that happens. Okay, so as soon as I get that calendar entry, my customer also gets it and they can add it to their calendar. But what's great about it is it adds all kinds of information that's actually useful, and it sends an email. And the email looks a little bit like this. There's more to it, but you can see, and those of you that have done this know, but the one part that I want to share with you that's really cool about Acuity is because I do all of my meetings on Zoom, all of them. I haven't heard my phone ring. I can't even remember the last time, to be honest with you. Everything's done on Zoom, and I communicate with all my clients via Slack. So it's wonderful. And the Zoom meeting is another step that I would have to schedule normally after somebody books an appointment with me. Well, not with Acuity. It automatically integrates with your calendar and with your Zoom account, and it'll create the meeting for you. And you can see the buttons at the bottom where it says change or cancel or add to iCal, Outlook, or add to Google. Those are obviously very useful. But what I love about the change cancel button is when somebody actually does change it, that arrow should be actually here. I'm going to show you. Let me zoom in real quick. That's what that arrow is supposed to be. When you click on the change, it actually allows the appointment to change. A new email is sent. It updates our calendars, and it changes the Zoom meeting all for me. It has never made a mistake. It works flawlessly. It'll make fewer mistakes probably than my office staff or I would. And it just is a wonderful, wonderful tool. And it doesn't take a lot to get it set up. It takes a little bit, but once you get it set up, it is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. So you can see it creates the URL for the users so that when they book the appointment, they know. And I can tell you, since I've used this piece of software, I've only had one person say, how do I connect? Everybody else, hundreds, have been able to find it, and usually they're there before me. And then you can see over here, this is my Zoom meetings that are upcoming. And you can see that free consultation with Reed also on December 8th, booked inside of Zoom. And that is waiting for me. So when I start my Zoom client, or I can go into the calendar and click on the Zoom link or find the email, or wait for my client to connect. And then I get an email from Zoom that says somebody's waiting. And that turns purple and plays the Oompa Loompa song because it says, if you're smart, you'll listen to me. I thought that was funny right before I get on to an Ignite session. But in any event, that piece happens automatically. So if I forget, or if I'm in the middle of something, I get this email, it turns purple, it starts playing music, even just an email, whatever, and then I can click on that and join the meeting. So there's so many different ways, and it's just almost impossible to miss something as a result of it. And again, if he changes the schedule through Acuity, you know, they don't necessarily know that's what it is, but when they click on the link to say, hey, I want to change this, it will change everything. Calendar, Zoom, the whole 9 yards. Wonderful, wonderful tool. Okay, so now that you've got this data flowing in, and it's all happening automatically, it would be great to use your CRM to do this as well. And getting that data into the CRM would be something that you would typically have to manually enter. And ideally, I would love it if there were direct connections between Insightly, which is my CRM and workflow app, but there aren't. So there's a tool called Zapier. And I write Zaps. I have only 18 Zaps, and they do different things. Some of them create sales receipts in QBO based on an order. Some of them do this. And in this case, what this Zap is doing, and these are actually really simple. Okay, if this confuses you, I'll explain it in the simplest terms possible. A Zap connects a couple of different applications and allows them to share data. So when one thing happens in one, something happens in the other. And in this case, when a new appointment comes in, and that's the Acuity logo, when somebody books an appointment, I set a filter that says, if this is an Ignite session, so it ignores the free consultations. So first it checks it and validates it. And it's just a simple process on the filter where I say, only show it if it says the words Ignite session. So if it passes the filter, then it'll go into Insightly and look for that contact. And that contact will then be associated with a task that's going to be created. So the middle two steps are monkey business. The trigger at the top is the original app, and the action at the bottom is the resulting app. So when an appointment is booked, a task is created. I just added the other two pieces so that I can make it a smoother process, and I can link the task to the contact so that when I see the task in my Insightly, and I've whited it out, but that is Reed's free consultation, again, on December 8th. And you can see that it has the lead icon, okay, versus a contact icon, which is the ones up here that look like the little Rolodex tabs. He's a lead. It automatically set free consultation as the category because I told it to in the Zap. That chooses a different color, which identifies to me I have a free consultation. It then, which is missing under the arrow, is his name. And I whited out everybody's name just to be safe. And so now I know exactly what I'm doing. Now, when this call happens, I'll click on free consultation. I'll see all of the information that Reed filled out. And this is what he filled out. Here's his lead. So I've obfuscated a couple of items on here, but he doesn't mind that I share his name. But you can see he also answered the questions that I mentioned earlier on from the initial Acuity scheduling from my website. And those questions were, where did you find me? Do you do what you love? Check these boxes that you need help with. So he had multiple choice, and he chose find more clients, increase revenue, managing clients. So he needs a workflow system. So that's cool. So now I know that I've got a marketing customer and a workflow customer. I might just get this done. I might have a new client. It's pretty exciting. Hopefully he'll pay me more than I've paid him. I doubt it. And then I asked, do you have a website? And he says, yes, I am all set. I'm glad that he has a website because I'm going to integrate some of the workflow stuff into his website, but I need to find out more. I should probably add a question on here. Is your website WordPress? Because that's the type of site that I would ideally want to work with. And then, do you have a good client onboarding? Now, each of these questions are asked in Acuity, and then I have fields set up inside of Insightly, and they simply just map through that zap. The zap that I showed you earlier is literally copying the data from Acuity Scheduling into Insightly. It created the record and the vitals up above, but then the prospect pre-qualified part is where I ask significant or specific questions and get the answers so that I can pre-qualify this lead. Now, I can do lots of stuff with this. I can say to anybody that says time frame to purchase does not apply to me, I can say, mark that one a very low opportunity. Okay, it does apply to him. He's just clever. So that's how this whole thing works. And you can also see his detailed description that he typed into the notes when he booked the appointment are here. And all of this happened automatically within seconds. I didn't touch it. Okay. Anybody want to take a stab at that last poll question? Remember, if you're here for CP, it's required. We have a poll up right now. A few of you have yet to vote. I'm going to end it. I've got to start another one. I'll give you just a few seconds here. We got 3 more. The 3 of you, could you please vote? Either way, I appreciate it. Okay, I've got to end it. All right, poll number 2. Zapier is an automation tool that connects various applications together, so when something happens on one, you can make something happen on another automatically. True or false? Or do you need to hear that again? Great. I think you've got it. There are other applications out there. There's one called If This Then That. There's a couple of other workflow, one I think workflow.io, and there's something else. Zapier is absolutely the best. The answer is true, by the way, for those of you, now that you've all voted. It is absolutely that. And the key to it is when you cannot get data, when you have data in something and you want to get into something else, this is a very efficient way of doing that to eliminate double entry and resources and so on and so forth. Okay. So now you've got a lead. What's next? I mean, what do you do with it now that you've got it inside of Insightly and you've qualified it? Beth just made a comment about IFTTT. So Beth, I'm going to tell you something right now. Zapier is a robust enterprise tool. IFTTT is free and it acts like it. It is unreliable. It is hokey. I've had lots of problems with it. I have it in use right now where I can ask my Echo to add something to a shopping list or to add a task to my Insightly, and it works most of the time, but it works on its own time frame. It's just not there. So if you're using it, make sure you're using it for stuff that's interesting, but not mission critical. Zapier is a truly mission critical app. When a Zap fails, they let you know immediately and why. So for example, if you were requiring an email address and you didn't have one, go update the record, replay the Zap, and it fixes it. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tool. And their support is phenomenal. And you get, I think, 20 Zaps for 20 bucks. I mean, it's peanuts, 20 bucks a month, I think. You can do it for free for the first 5, I believe. So try it. Go out there and play with it. It's a lot of fun. All right, so you've got this lead, and I ask you the question, what next? So you have to process it, right? You've got to do something with it. So Reed, in this case, I've already responded to Reed via email, letting him know that I'm excited to talk with him. I want him to know that I got his email. I texted him as well. I've known him for a while, but why not? I could just, if I'm really busy, just wait until it happens. But, it's better to reach out ahead of time and make the connection. So in terms of processing the lead, the first thing I recommend you do is study the prospect. Now that you've got some information about this person. You've got their email address. And remember how I talk a lot about domain-based email? Well, he sent me an email from Olmsted.law, so I can go out and research who the heck this guy is, find out what kind of attorney he is and what he can do, what he might need, or who his competition is. I was in a client's office recently, and they said something brilliant. The salesperson came in and said, so this person wants to give us a big deal with a lot of orders, but they want us to be very competitive. And his response to the sales rep was, I just thought this was brilliant, was, well, how did he find us? And she said, he searched a particular term on the internet. And they're trained to ask this, and they have systems that catch this information. And I have it too with the source. How did you find this type of thing? So anyhow, they found him on the internet. They searched a particular set of words. So this guy tells his salesperson, great, go search those words on the internet, find the top 3 companies that show up that are our competitors, find out what their pricing is, and beat it. Genius, right? I just stopped for a moment and looked up at him and said, you're going to get that deal. Excellent, excellent. Now, in addition to studying the prospect, one of the things that Insightly does, and so do other tools, is it will go out and automatically pull social profiles over time. Because it has the email address and different hooks and links and things like that, whatever data is available through whatever sources it's using, it can figure out who that person is, the prospect, a contact, yourself, and it'll fill in their Facebook profiles and Google Plus profiles, and it just finds that stuff. So in Insightly, it starts to build upon itself. But above and beyond that, studying that prospect by learning who they are through their URL or asking them questions or responding to the responses they gave you in the scheduling will give you a lot more data about who this person is. If I pick up the phone or if I get on a Zoom session and I didn't study my prospect, I have the chance of finding out that this person really wasn't calling me for what I thought they were. I didn't read the notes, you know, and they got on and they said, oh, well, I'm not interested in hiring you. I just wanted to either get a free consult, or I just, you know, was actually looking to get you to buy my book, or, you know, you never know. So you really want to avoid those types of hiccups. And this is a great way to do it. And then after you study it, complete the profile inside of your CRM, whether that's Insightly or whatever it might be, and get the data that you can get about them. And if you see that there's recurring data that you keep getting, like their a profile or something that's not already there, make a custom field for that, or make, you know, if you're using an Excel spreadsheet or a pad of paper, a template, whatever, an onboarding form, I don't care what you're using. Well, I do, but if whatever you are using, make sure you are getting that repetitive data that you get on all, and you're containerizing that in some sort of a regular field so that you can make sure that you get it all the time because you found that it was useful. And then you want to email them, and times vary. And the reason why I say times vary, and what I mean by that is, you know, when you meet somebody romantically, let's say you're at the library and you bump into somebody, or at Starbucks or whatever, and you get a phone number, you're interested, you're single, you're interested, whatever, and they show interest. And you talk for a little while and one thing leads to another. Do you email them or call them in the car on the way home? Raise your hand if that's how you do it. Don't anybody raise your hand. Don't raise your, no, good, okay. No, you make them think about it a little bit, right? You might study the prospect. You might look for their Facebook profile, figure out who they are, do a little research, a little homework, you know, and then you'll maybe email or call them within a few days. Well, it's the same kind of a thing with a prospect. If you meet somebody at a conference and you call them before you walk out the door, you're going to scare them in most cases. Unless they said, call me before I walk out the door, most people want to digest the fact that they just met you. So play this by ear, work with what works best for you, and try different things. Don't be overly aggressive in the initial phase. Then after a few days of your first email, you can email them again, but give it a different reason, give it a different purpose. Maybe leave something out that you need to ask them later. Find something that you don't have. Ask them about their business, or filling in a blank on their profile that will give them a reason to respond. And then whether they respond or not, maybe give them a call. And this you can use your gut on. If you feel like it would be okay, do it. But I'm going to tell you right now, top salespeople will call. Unless somebody tells you not to, they will. Now, after a while, you're going to wonder if this person's ever going to do business with you. And if that's the case, folks, I have in my Insightly email templates or get off the pot email. I kid you not. And I wouldn't doubt if somebody here has received it. It's very nice, but it's kind of funny. And it basically says, hey, look, if you're not interested in my services, let me know. And I actually go so far as I give them 5 responses. Here's 5 responses that you can answer back to this email. One says, dude, you're driving me nuts. Leave me alone. Never talk to me again. Another one says, oh, I'm just super busy. Yes, I'm still interested. Pester me once in a while. I look forward to talking with you. Or another one might say, yeah, I just don't know. I need more information about you. Can we set up another follow-up call? Give them something. Make it easy for them. And this is going to lead to something else later. But this kind of goes to the other webinar we did on getting a horse to drink. If you make the process easy for somebody, you're going to do yourselves a favor. You're going to do them a favor, and they might just laugh. You might just turn them. They might just think, okay, this guy's got character, whatever it might be. And it can be your own style. But I do this, and every once in a while, I'll get back a response, and they'll say, man, you know what? I've totally been wanting to call you. I've just been overwhelmed, and I've been traveling, and one of them ended up in spam. I'm so glad you kept on with this. And they literally copy and paste it, and then they make a comment about it. So, but the idea is you want to clear out the dead leads. You don't want to keep, you can automatically email the leads that you have that aren't responding, but you don't want them in your opportunities. You don't want them top of mind because they will distract you. All right, so they respond. You got them. They're interested. They definitely want to work with you. By the way, we have a poll open. Please answer it. There's still a few of you that have not. I love to get 100% voting on these. We don't know who you are when you vote, folks. I just get a count for the numbers. So when you get somebody, now it's a little bit different, okay? This is so important. When you're just meeting somebody in a bar, you might wait a few days before you call them so you don't freak them out. But when they call you and say, I would love to go on a date with you, or I'm interested in your service, jump on it. Now you can be very responsive because there's an opportunity for you to get this person to move into action that could change at any moment's notice. And you don't want that to happen. Now is the time, jump on it. And I have said this so many times, and I still to this day, I'm just blown away by how people transact business with me. Jay Kimmelman, who's a client, a friend, fellow faculty member, we worked with him for a long time. His system, we hired him as our CPA recently. His system was exactly what I would want to see. He's the digital CPA, so obviously he's hip on that stuff. We worked together on building it. But I got to tell you something. When he engaged with me and sent me the documents, it was such an easy process. It was the first time I'd ever been able to use my Apple Pencil on my iPad to sign an engagement letter. And it was instant, automatic, and just really efficient. But if you don't use some sort of an electronic system to do engagement letters, or you don't send a link with your proposal, or you don't provide some sort of a payment, immediate payment option. Let me tell you a quick story. So I recently finalized my divorce with my youngest mom, and we have a very healthy relationship, but it was a long and expensive process. The poll is at the bottom. It should say polling at the bottom of your Zoom window if you're looking for the poll. Can everybody see the poll? Raise your hands if you can see the poll. Like, I got a lot of answers. Could be a quirky browser thing or an older version of the Zoom thing or something. I know it's down there because I've got 90% of you have responded. So I hired a divorce attorney, and he sends me an engagement letter. It's about 12 pages long. And I negotiated with him when I did. I said, yeah, I'm going to give you a $5,000 retainer. And he said, no problem. He said, but I need it within 2 weeks. So 2 weeks went by. We were on the phone. And he said, you know, Eric, I just got a call from my accounting department. You didn't send in your $5,000. I said, huh? And he said to me, he said, this is not the way we do business. You made a commitment. I said, I had absolutely no intention of not paying you. I was expecting something to pay you with. What do you mean? I said, well, an invoice or a link or something. It was in the engagement letter. So I opened up the engagement letter. I read through it. They've been doing it like this since America was discovered. I mean, it's just old school. And it was embedded and buried inside of a paragraph that I was supposed to mail a check. Well, you don't mail checks. Send me a link. Make it really easy. Or pick up the phone and call. Yesterday, I got a certified letter. Angela and I got a certified letter from our kids' school, elementary school, for aftercare. Last summer, we got an invoice for about 6 months of aftercare. And I was shocked. I had been getting them every 2 months like I was supposed to up until that point, and then it stopped. And I got this big bill. So I called them and I said, whoa, what happened here? What's this? I've been paying you. Oh, well, we had a little problem. We didn't mail our invoices. Then I found out this happened to most of the school. Okay, no big deal. So in the call, I said, well, what's the total? He said, well, there's going to be one more invoice that comes out. I said, can you give me the total so I can just pay this and we'd be done with it? And he said, you know, I don't have it right now, but let me get it to you. I'll mail it to you and I'll call you back with the number. Neither happened. I then just I talked to Angela about it, and she said, we agreed, let's just take them $500 now, pay them. It's, you know, the bulk of it. I don't know what the amount is, but I don't want to be behind with my kids' school, but let's just pay this now. And I'm sure they'll get it to us. They're just, you know, they're a school. They do other things. Yesterday, we got certified mail, second notice, highlighted, very stern, acting as if we were deadbeats. And I was livid. So was she. And we both, we both connected with the director of the business department and what have you, or business finance department. And the fact of the matter is still in this case, they're sending me an invoice, certified mail, cost the school $7. I said, why didn't you just pick up the phone and call? We have 300 kids on our school. Why don't you pick up the phone and call me? You know me. I donate to the school more than most people do. I'm a volunteer. I'm very active. I'm involved in everything. Why wouldn't you just pick up the phone and call me and say, hey, Eric, can you run over a check? She missed it. And she was very, very upset about it. But it's because they don't have a system. And then we learned that the school is very far behind in getting paid. Don't be that school. Once they agree and they're ready to rock, follow up, and close them. Close them and start working. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about closing at the end here. Let's talk a little bit about electronic engagement letters. Like Jay, who uses DocuSign, we deploy PandaDoc, which is an integration inside of Insightly. And we love it because it automates the process. You can literally send, yeah, Beth, I'm not going to let them pay me, but I did offer to help them for free. The engagement letter you can literally send within seconds. You know, have you ever been in a situation where a customer is like talking to you and they're saying, yeah, I'm interested, let's go. Can you send me a proposal? And you can't because you're either on the go or you're running here, you're running there, you're doing this, whatever. And at the end of the day, you wish you could just hit a couple of buttons or call your secretary or your helper or your assistant or your colleague or whatever and get it done. Well, often is the case that we can't, and that's very stressful. But if we had a system that was very efficient and it just took a quick login and a couple of clicks and we could send that out efficiently, then it would reduce our stress and increase our ability to earn. Well, that's what these electronic engagement letters do. And what I love about PandaDoc, you can see that this is a PandaDoc overlay on top of our Insightly account. And what's really cool about this is we've got this prefab proposal, and all of our Ignite clients are welcome to this. And this proposal we build for you, and it automatically fills in all of the blanks for you and allows you to put in a very handsome table with the dollar amounts and the services. And it even has optional, and you can hook it up with links to your website or to direct payment systems or include an invoice. It has all kinds of integrations. It's really easy to use, and it's literally instant. I went to Reed's Record, click, click, send. That's it. Done. My stress level plummets. My sales skyrocket. You've got to do this. When he signs it, I get notified. When he opens it, I get notified. When he opens it again, I get notified. When he doesn't sign it, I get reminded. I can send him a reminder with one click. Hey man, you going to sign this? Hey man, you going to sign this? And eventually he's just going to do it. This is the kind of stuff that's key. And then including a payment button, a link, or some instant way of being paid. With 74 systems, you go to our website, you click purchase, you put in your credit card number, and you're our customer. And that's a subscription. It's that simple. Whether you do it through your website, I don't know why everybody doesn't do it this way. This is not designed for people to go and buy on their own. That happens from time to time. This is for you to have a free consultation with me and then go to my site, pick the thing that makes the most sense to you and purchase it. And that's how it happens all the time. That's why we have 55 clients. Every single one of our clients has bought through this system. And that is 16 hours a day, 2+ people working nonstop, making a good living. And we don't ever touch any of this stuff. Please find a way to automate that process. You will thank me later. And please, never, ever do what my attorney did and send somebody an engagement letter by mail, which takes days, and ask them to write a check. Not in 2016, almost 17. It's practically free to avoid this. And whatever you pay will be paid back to you X times over. All right. Few tips. Once again, I cannot make this point clearer. Include links. Don't expect somebody to find you. Give them a link. If you want somebody to come to your webinar, give them a link to your webinar. If you want somebody to buy your service, give them a link to your service. If you want them to book a free consultation, give them a link to a free consultation. Don't give them too many links because they'll click them all. Give them a link to the one that is the most useful at that time. If you are looking to book a free consultation, send them that link. Don't send them a buy now button if you know they're not even remotely close to it, because they're going to go click on it, look at your pricing, and then bounce, and you're going to wonder why they never talked to you because you didn't have an opportunity to discuss it with them. Give them just the link that matters. It blows me away how many emails I get where you don't, in your signature, provide information. Today I added a new client and I could not find her company name, and I sorted through 25 emails that we had gone back and forth on, and nowhere in there, she had a Gmail or a Yahoo address, nowhere in there was I able to find her company name. I'm beating my head against the wall because of it. It's so frustrating. An email address, always with a domain-based email account, Eric at 74 Systems. Worst case, you can find me at 74 Systems. My phone number, but don't call it, but give it to them. Some people like it. Always. Every response. Don't go crazy. Don't put a bunch of pictures. Don't go nuts with your signatures, but give them the pertinent information so that they can contact you. And don't assume that somebody knows your email address because they see your email address in the reply. Put it under your name. Let them know. Let them see. Make it simple. Every email I send has a link to my free consultation, and I don't have any availabilities until after the 8th. It works, I'm telling you. And people will thank you for it. And be very, very careful not to overpromise, because when you do get the customer and things start to happen, this is more of a statement to say, don't blow it. You've not only closing a customer after this process, but it's also about keeping that customer. Don't close a customer if you can't deliver. Don't offer them something you can't offer. Offer them something you can. But do push yourself. If it's something you don't know everything about, that's okay. Learn it. But don't put yourself in such a position where the stress level is going to be so extraordinary. You should have a little bit. You should be always growing. But make sure you can deliver, and then do it. Stay up all night. Don't complain you don't have time. Don't complain you have to take the kids. Don't complain. Don't complain. Do it. I drove back in a fever yesterday through traffic after a 9-hour day, only to work another 6 hours and then get up too early and start all over again. I love it. I had a call at 9 o'clock with another country, and I was at my desk this morning at 7-ish. You just find the time. Sleep when you're dead. All right, I've been asked a lot about this, so I'm going to do a quick ORNSA refresher. IBM taught us this. Starts with open-ended questions. When you ask somebody a question and they can say yes or no, you end the conversation immediately. You meet somebody at Starbucks and you say, and you ask them, so are you from around here? Yes. Now what? What do you say next? Rather, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Santa Barbara. Really? You're born here? Yes, I was. You start a conversation. Tell me something about your business. Oh, really? Where? Tell me about where you're from. Tell me about your life. Tell me about your business. Tell me about your biggest challenges. Tell me about your last bookkeeper. Tell me about your business's growth potential. Tell me about something. Ask them a question that will force them to discuss and answer. If they're reluctant to do so, then either they're not comfortable with you, so it's going to take time. And remember, folks, you're not going to build relationships with people immediately. It takes time. We all know that. And over time, people get to know you, and they either like you or they don't. I've learned in my career that I grow on people. Sometimes I'm not loved in the first moment. You know, either I come on too strong or I'm too loud or whatever it might be. But once people get to know me and they realize I'm a real person, they really, truly become deep, long-standing friends. I mean, I have a lot of friends from kindergarten still. So everybody's a little bit different. Some people will warm up to you right away. Beware of the person who says, I'm hiring you right now. Here's the money. Because next morning, they're going to call you and say, you know, I didn't talk to my wife about it. I really can't do it. People that digest and take the time to think through it are more likely to be long-standing customers. So by open-ended questions, you can continue a conversation, build a relationship, open up dialogue, and leave opportunity for your future. While you're talking to somebody, one of the best things you can ever do is reference, and this is a challenge for some people. And a reference is something like, oh yeah, you know, I just finished a client who also has 3 gas stations, and we do the exact same thing with his payroll. Oh, okay, well, now you're qualified. Or, hey, that's cool. So you know what you're talking about? Let's continue our conversation. But sometimes you'll get into a situation where somebody says, yeah, I need somebody to master my payroll. And you're like, oh man, that's something I'm just getting into. So your response needs to be more clever. Don't lie, but it needs to be more clever. Something along the lines of, you know, payroll is one of those things. It is a very challenging thing for a lot of people, but it's actually quite simple. I work with a large group that has a tremendous understanding of payroll. I don't do a lot of payroll myself, but I work with other services. But this is right in my wheelhouse. I would be more than happy to discuss it with you. I actually have a buddy who's an expert at it. If you ever have any questions, I can bring him into the mix. I'm sure he'd be happy to help you. He's also a great resource for me. Whenever I have a question, I go to him. Payroll is not my core competency, but it's definitely one of the skills that I have. That's a much better answer than saying, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm going to find out for you sounds better too. Reference can be difficult, but try to spin it. Try to reference something. Reference, not specifically state. It's a reference. It's a metaphor sometimes. It's alluding to. It's, hey, yeah, you know, we talked about payroll in school. At least you got something. Needs qualify is really simple. If you go to their office, you are the one profession that can look at the books. So if you open up the books and you see that they're bleeding money and they're not making any money and they're behind on their payments, later, but that's something you get to do. You can ask one of your potential clients to look at their books before you give them a quote, a proposal. And that is a wonderful thing. It's not always going to happen, but it should, because you really can't do a good job if you don't evaluate them ahead of time. Okay, so if you can't get into their books, look around their office, check out the ride. You know, if there's a Tesla out front with their name, you know, on the license plate, they probably have a few bucks, and it's a better opportunity than somebody who's riding a bike to work and is still living at home. Learn about these people, qualify them. Don't waste your time on opportunities that don't exist, but don't burn bridges, because something that may just be a little blossom can one day turn into a beautiful, gorgeous piece of fruit. Okay, years go by and people reach out to me and say, you know, I wanted to hire you years ago, but I couldn't afford it. And I've just watched your webinars, or I've heard this, or I've heard that, and now I can afford it. I'm hiring you. Awesome. Okay, now that I see you've got a pulse and you've got a Tesla and you have needs and your revenues are here and we've got synergy and we went to the same college and I really want this job, here's what I'd like to do. I want to offer you the following service. I have 3 different tiers, but the service that I think fits you best is this one. It'll cost this much. And let's jump into the action plan. I can start on Tuesday or Thursday. Which one works better? Now that's a closed-end question on purpose, because I want that. I want a yes or a no. If there's a no, then I'll try a different tactic. But I want to give them the option. And I use this as an analogy, and some of you may have heard this before. When your children are acting up and they say, can I have candy? And you say, no, you can have fruit or you can have vegetable. Which one do you want? I want candy. No, I said fruit or vegetable. Those are your options. Okay, fruit. Limit their options. Another action plan for your business is, awesome. So how about writing the last check you're ever going to have to write to me, and then I will be your official check writer going forward. Tuesday or Thursday, MasterCard or Visa. Let's write that last check, and I will be here at Tuesday. Does 10 a.m. or 12 p.m. work better for you? And if they answer 12 p.m., you're going to make a sale. Okay, last poll. And everybody answer this one, please. Ornsa is check all that apply. Smart people. You know, I do this on purpose because I want you to learn. I like to cheat for you. Excellent. All right, next up, this is a big one. I think we are going to be full. Ways to initiate conversations. One-liners, openers, conversation starters. That's on the 5th. And there's lyrics that go with this on the website. I'm going to go through a series of apps and show you some cool things that each one of them does. Might even make a top 10 list. Not sure how that's going to happen yet. Today was onboarding clients. I hope you use some of what we talked about. This will be is being recorded and will be available to you in our library within roughly 24 hours. I thank you for attending today, and I look forward to seeing you at our next Astudemy live webinar.